Katie, and this is Liveitinthenow. On this channel, I talk about everyday manifesting, how it worked for me, and so you can then apply it to your own life and get everything that you want. Today, we're going to talk about how to manifest anything you want in 24 hours or less. Most don't think that is even possible, but it can be if you understand how law of attraction and manifesting really works, or if you discover what is preventing your desires from being seen by you. All your desires you want already exist. They're already here and possible. If you desire it with your heart and feel it is a good fit for you or something true to you, then that desire came from you. So it is possible, and it can happen, and it will happen. So the first thing you want to do is be in alignment. This means you are a match to what you desire. This is what so many mean when they say live in the end, or feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That is what this is. You are feeling now the same way you'd feel if you had your desire. So when you feel good about getting what you want, you are aligned with it. So what manifests any desire for me, you might ask? I say what I want and feel good about it. I see myself as having it for those few seconds, and that's it. Then, as time goes on, I monitor my thoughts about it and be sure that I don't have any bad thoughts about my desire. So the signal is clear, and it can be shown to me or come to me, or me led to it. If a bad thought on it comes up, I say, I always get what I want, and all my desires are being fulfilled. I said what I want, and I always get what I want. And then I do something else off the topic or subject. It helps to have a project or interest or sport to then go and do and take your mind off of it. So then you don't interfere with that process and let it happen. Then you know it is coming. Try for smaller things first to gain belief. I started with small things, then went on to bigger things like an apartment, car, relationship. I realized people can change and shift and practice on the people at work. I even changed my awful boss, and he ended up leaving the company and being fired since he argued with a new employee. And this was someone who you think would work there forever or until he retired. So that made me have more belief that anything is possible and circumstances don't matter. I also manifested an ex to talk to me, and they didn't even have my phone number. It was like it came to them in a dream, they said. And I manifested a new relationship, and they found me where I am and came to me at my doorstep. So things that are really out there and that you seem wouldn't even be possible are possible, and that circumstances really don't matter. So you start to become aware that anything can shift and change. I once moved into a new apartment and didn't want to leave at the same time as my neighbor. I just wanted the mornings to myself. So I said I want her to leave at a different time. And a day later, she started leaving a half hour before me. So that just grew my belief as well. So step 1 is you first become at peace and get into a stable state. This means your emotions are not all over and you are calm. You look at and question and clear your thoughts. Most times we give a mixed signal, like, I want this, but how will it happen? It can happen. It never has before. I want it now. All things are possible. We are all over and not realizing our thoughts are preventing it or slowing it down. We are accidentally thinking good and bad thoughts about it. And we want to just think good about it. So look at your thoughts and thought stories. Are you happy about your desire, or are you upset about it? A thought story may be about relationships or money or a desire in general, like money's hard to get. Relationship people always treat me bad. Or no one feels like a match. That's a story about your desire, and that is not a good thought. You only want good thoughts about your desire. So as you can imagine, the more important or special or rare or meaningful a desire is, most often the more stories and upset and past memories about it exist. These thoughts are overwhelming you. It is like having or carrying on top of your desire hundreds of bricks. Your desire is not allowed to be and to happen since it is covered in bricks. So question these things briefly to dissolve them. Is money hard to get? Not always. You could win the lottery. You could have a friend give you an expensive item that they no longer want and you happen to sell it. Maybe you win a new car and you sell your old one. There are ways it can happen that are positive. There was once a sign spinner guy on TV who worked at a car place, and a talk show host just saw him or saw a picture of him and just decided to give him a huge check and a new car. So when you question this bad thought, is it really true? No, it is not true. Money can come to you. So that dissolves that one thought. Okay, how about relationship people? I never find a good match. Is it possible you can't? No, that isn't true. You are just focused on not a match. But you can shift that. So is it true? Is that bad thought actually true? No, it's not. So that dissolves it. The only thing causing you any suffering or upset about your desires is your own thoughts. Imagine you sat in a room and had no bad thoughts. You would be at peace and just being and happy. If you can do this, this is the fastest way to alignment and being closer to your God self. When you are, the things become easier to manifest, since you are clear and open. Then you are more powerful, since you're connected to your higher self without all these bad thoughts, emotions, and upset bringing you down. If you let go of all those bad thoughts about your desire, you become lighter and happier and more connected. This is alignment. It helped me to see my desires as neutral. This was a huge change and a shift for me. Since from that, I no longer had a strong, intense need and lack feelings and trying and looking and wanting type energy, an energy of I didn't have it. So how did I see my desires as neutral? I questioned them. Is having money good or bad? It can be both. Maybe you have tons of money but then scared of losing it, so it feels bad. Then scared of losing it. So that feels bad. Maybe it lets you travel and buy a house, so then it is good. So is that desire good or bad? It's neutral. It just is. So if it just is, for me that felt like I may want it one day, but I no longer need it. I no longer lack it. And most importantly, I no longer feel bad or upset about my desire. It doesn't mean I don't want money, but it released all those negative bad thoughts about it and around it. And remember that we only want good thoughts about our desire. So it worked for me. For a relationship, is one good or bad? It can be both. Maybe you can be romantic and cuddle, so it is good. But maybe you have to say what you're up to every second and you get annoyed at that, so that makes it bad. So, is it good or bad? It can be both. If it is both, this let go of all bad thoughts and lack and trying and desperate about it. I was no longer upset I didn't have it. I was no longer upset I didn't have it means that bad thoughts about my desire was cleared. See, I cleared the bad thoughts about my desire. And having no bad thoughts about your desire manifests it easy and fast, and sometimes even instant. I noticed this pattern for everything amazing I ever manifested. I said what I wanted and felt good about it. And as I said what I wanted, usually a flash or image of it automatically came to mind. Or I saw a picture of something or an object in the world and said, I want that. And as I said I saw myself or felt myself as having it. All this was done in under 5 minutes even, and those things always happened. I can see now, after they happened, how the bridge of incidents unfolded. People, things, and myself were led and moved and arranged to bring it about. There are always amazing ways the bridge of incidents unfolds. The bridge of incidents is like when stuff lines up for you, when all is arranged to bring about your desire. After countless amazing huge manifestations that happened, I started to see the pattern of how it happened. Most of our huge desires we have bad thoughts about it, stories and upset and past memories about it. That is why stuff you don't care about happens faster and easier, because usually you don't feel or think bad about it. You just want it and see yourself as having it, and that's it. Realize your thoughts are preventing your desires. Some may ask, do I have to feel positive and super joyful all the time to manifest? You don't have to. Just try to feel natural and at ease, not emotionally all over. And try to reduce the thoughts that make you upset or unhappy about your desire. I don't know if you can imagine this in your mind, but less bad thoughts. These thoughts being released from you. Let's say below you and out your feet. Then what happens? You feel better, lighter, and more at peace, and more uplifted. Just imagine that again, having less bad thoughts, and these thoughts being released from you. This is a shift in consciousness. You're closer to your power to manifest, closer to your true self and true state, your natural state of being, which is peace, love, and joy. See how, if all that upset and suffering is gone from you, how clear and stable you'd be? Then from that is fast and instant and fun to manifest and watch the world around you conform and arrange things in your favor. You can then say a desire and know it will happen, and then you see it happen. So what else did I do to make manifesting so easy? I sat down and closed my eyes. I realized there is an awareness within me. It is aware that I exist, that I'm alive, right? It is sorta an empty space, a space of nothingness it feels like. But then notice how that same awareness, that same thing has been there all your life. Although you grew up and changed, and the outside of you changed, that stable state, stable awareness within you has remained. And it will always remain. Your true self is undisturbed by all these things, all these life things, situations, or circumstances. You can always return to this, to a state of just being, just existing at any time. So close your eyes and do it for several seconds. See that awareness or feel it. Whatever has ever happened to you, that awareness or beingness within you has remained undisturbed. Like a car window. All stuff, rain, snow, wind has come on it, but then it is washed away and the window still remains. Imagine a sky. Clouds pass by, storms come up and pass by, but that sky remains and is untouched. That is how your true self is. You have all these experiences and things happen, but your true self is untouched and remains. I found it powerful to close my eyes and feel that awareness inside me and just have no bad thoughts about my desires or anything. Just being, just sitting there being. This brings you to perfect peace and alignment. You will know you are aligned with your desire and that it will come if you feel good about it. I guess that is what meditation is. I never saw or understood it in this way. I didn't get why meditating did anything. But no one ever told me it is to have no bad thoughts about your desires, to have no bad thoughts about anything, and to just be, and to exist with no thoughts. To then enter alignment. No one ever told me why that was a benefit. It's a benefit since you no longer have bad thoughts about your desire, which is the number one thing preventing them. Imagine if you're sitting there and have no thoughts about anything. You're just being. You may think it's hard. You say, I have 1,000,000 thoughts a day or 1,000,000 thoughts a second. But just try it. Try to relax and sit there and close your eyes and see those thoughts that come up as clouds. As the random thoughts come up, you see them as clouds and you shift them aside. Slowly shift them aside. Clear them away. Clear them away. Let them come up, but then just shift them aside and clear them away. Then they become less and less. Okay, now sit there a minute and say what you do want. See how then your desire is a strong, powerful, clear focus? It is a direct, clear desire. You may see a flash or an image of yourself having it as you say what you want. It usually comes up automatically. You just planted a seed. You gave a core message of your desire, of what you want or want to experience. Now it will happen. You don't always have to sit and do all this. It is just a good way to start. Once you're better at it and have awareness of how it all works, you can be out in the world anywhere and just say what you want and feel good about it, and it happens. So learn to feel good about your desires, which usually means to remove all bad thoughts about them. This all sounds like it takes a lot of time, but for me it took a day. Once I became aware of it all and aware of the key points I shared with you. Then from this place now, I manifest instantly and fast and easy all the time.